Hey everybody, today I would like to chat with you about how sometimes the universe upgrades you. So you maybe, if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me here before that I believe the universe doesn't listen to your prayers. The universe does not look at what you have put on your vision board, and the universe does not listen so much to your affirmations as much as the universe watches your actions. It is your actions that tell you, the universe, what you really are asking for your life. And so sometimes you take an action and the universe looks at that and says, wow, she's really interested in this, he's really interested in that. And then the universe delivers things that you did not necessarily ask for, but you should have asked for. And sometimes it delivers things that you have wanted, but not necessarily just yet. So let me give you an example. Some years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I had a car that I loved, and it was a two-door Oldsmobile Calais. And I really liked that car, and I was told the car needed new tires. So I went to Sam's Club, and because I love my car so much, I got some really expensive tires, and I paid extra for a lifetime warranty. And not a day or two later, my husband receives a call from a friend of ours who was a car dealer, and he says, hey, I have a fantastic car that I think Moni will like. And my husband tells me that, and I'm like, oh, I just got new tires for my car, and I love my car. I don't want to get a new car. And he tells me, well, it'll be new to you. It's not a new car. And our friend Joe, he told me that this car is a four-door, unlike your car, which is a two-door, and it'd be easy to get a car seat in there. And so I thought, wow, this is just amazing, because this was the first time that my husband had really even admitted a single time that he really was serious about having children. Until that time, he said like, oh, no, I don't think I want to have kids. So I jumped on the occasion to get this car, and I had just paid for the new tires, right? So that was like $600. And I got this new car, and our friend, he had just quit his job, and he has started his own car dealership. And in this car dealership, he had gotten into debt to buy the dealership, and so he needed money to end the month without even more debt, being able to pay all his bills. And so he sold me this car for just the amount that he received it as a trade-in, and that was almost half price compared to the value in the Kelley Blue Books. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I wish he had called me like 3 days earlier about this car, so I didn't have to spend all that money in getting new tires for my old car. And the thing is, later on I realized that if I had not shown the universe how interested I was in upgrading my old car, the universe would not have sent me this friend with the offer to get a much better car that could actually fit a car seat, so I could finally have kids. And that is the car I had when my first baby was born. And yes, it was really good for putting in a car seat. It was very comfortable. So sometimes the universe will upgrade you. Let me tell you another story. This is a story of this woman who was very devoted to her household and to her children, and she homeschooled the kids. And she wanted, she had a lot of play days, invited people over, and the yard wasn't looking very nice. And so she said, hey, she would tell her husband, can we have the yard sodded so that the kids can play soccer and other games, because the yard is looking pretty bad and it's mostly weeds. And the husband would say, no, I don't think we need it. So one day the wife decided she's going to take matters into her own hands. And she just went and bought a lot of seed, and she and the kids, they worked really, really hard and planted those seeds and did everything. And then the results were spotty, right? And so then the husband said, I think we need to have the yard sodded. And the wife was like, oh my gosh, you could have told me this before I went through all the trouble of seeding our yard. You could have told me that you were willing to get the sod for our yard. But that's not how it works. It's because she showed the universe that she was willing, that she really wanted to have that really nice yard. The universe responded by having her husband have a change of heart. And so that's how it works. The universe upgrades you even when you're not looking for that. And so recently, what happened in our house is that we had just, and we have the kitchen where I'm sitting right now, and the dining room is right next to the kitchen. And I had just added some cabinets and a countertop and high cabinets to one wall in the dining room, which is the north wall. And so partly is that my kitchen is kind of small for my style of cooking. For other people, it might be perfectly fine. But I like to cook most everything from scratch. Sometimes I make my own cheese. I make my own butter. Right now I'm learning to make croissants. And so for me, the kitchen felt like it needed more cabinet space, more counter space. So we added all that on the one side, on the north side of our dining area. And also because we thought that would help with the heating, right, in the winter. And so when we had done this, and we did it all ourselves, we went to a store, we got unfinished wood cabinets, we stained them together, the boys and I installed them, and it's looking really, really nice. And after that, by contrast, the kitchen cabinets were not looking so good. And so my husband and I decided to, because the cabinets are in really good condition, or were in really good condition, so we decided we're just going to change the doors. And we got these really nice doors that you see over there. And so again, my older son and I installed them. It took a long time because you want to make sure they're square and all that. And so then our kitchen was looking really, really nice, and we're really happy with it. And what happened next was that one day, because I have these beautiful new wooden solid wood doors. Our previous door were made of particle board. These are solid wood. And so every so often I treat them with a walnut oil to make sure they're shiny and they don't get any water damage. And I was squatting in my kitchen cleaning my doors, and I happened to look up and I saw the bottom of the kitchen counters, and I saw that right above the dishwasher, the counter was in really bad shape. Later on, I learned, because it was a Formica counter and particle board underneath, that the steam of the dishwasher over the years, if you have that kind of counter, the humidity is going to get into the particle board and it's going to damage it, right? And so I looked at that and was like, man, we really need new counters. And then I thought to myself, no, we're not going to do that just yet because we spent all this other money doing these other things. So I'm just gonna put up with a counter that needs replacing, and I'm not going to do anything about it. And not 2 days later, we had a leak in our dishwasher, and it was going on for hours before we even noticed. So it ruined the floors in our kitchen, the floors in our dining room, and the lower cabinets in our kitchen too, because the size of a lot of cabinets are made from particle board. I wanted, when they came to redo the floors, I wanted all the cabinets out because I wanted to assess what kind of damage we had underneath the cabinets. I wanted to see if there was mold, right? So they took the cabinet out into the front yard, this one cabinet, and I saw that the sides that were made of particle board were bloated. And I went to touch, to assess the damage, and the wood crumbled in my hands. It just crumbled. And so I was so distraught. And then I told my husband, we're just going to have to replace the lower cabinets because we can't put these back. They're falling apart. They have black mold. They have blue mold. And so they just have to be replaced. And so, because it happened on a Sunday, the leak happened on a Sunday, the only person we could call to help us out is a friend, very dear friend of my husband, and he owns a company. He's used to be a general contractor before he bought this company. So he owns this company where he makes countertops for kitchens, in all sorts of beautiful materials. So he came over and he said, okay, I'll help you change the cabinets and all that. And he said, when he looked at the counters, and he said, I'm not putting these counters back on your kitchen. I'm going to get you all new counters. And he gave us such an amazing deal, a super good deal. So now, the project's not finished yet. We're still in the middle of it, but we're going to have beautiful, beautiful, fancy countertops. And for my working surface, I'm going to have butcher block, which I have wanted for many, many years. You know, like Martha Stewart has that butcher block island where she cuts things. So I have a peninsula, not an island. And I'm going to have butcher block right here. And I'm going to be able to do my cooking much better, much more efficiently. And so, and all sorts of blessings have happened from this leak. And that's what I'm saying, you know, the universe, so that I noticed the countertops. But my immediate reaction was, I don't want to do that yet because I want to spend the money. And the universe delivered a leak that ended up with us replacing the floors for even more beautiful floors than we had before, which we did have beautiful floors, but now they're even more beautiful. And they actually have a cushion so that I'll get less tired when I'm standing cooking in the kitchen. And we got, you know, new cabinets and these beautiful countertops. So our kitchen is all upgraded and at very low cost with really fine materials. So the universe, so we were interested in having a more beautiful kitchen, a more efficient kitchen. And the universe responded with the timing. Now the piece, the valve that broke, this plastic thingy under the dishwasher that broke, that was going to break sooner or later, okay? But the timing with which it broke allowed us to do this. Another thing is this. It happened on a Sunday, and on Tuesday, we were supposed to go to the beach. So yeah, we had to cancel our beach trip. But if it had happened 2 days later while we were at the beach, the floors in our whole house would have been had to replace because there would have been nobody here until, you know, we had a house sitter, but she wasn't going to be here till the nighttime. So if it had happened Tuesday morning, she wouldn't have known it happened until Tuesday night. We would have had to cut our trip short, and you know, the damage would have been much worse, and the cost would have been much more. And there's been so many blessings, you know, for example, from checking our insurance to see if we had insurance for water damage, which we did. My husband found out that we were actually being overcharged for some things. And so our insurance is going to go down. Because this happened, you know, a friend came over to take a look at the progress. You know, a friend that she's a realtor and she flips houses. She came to look at that, and then as we were talking, you know, she ended up getting help from my children with some projects she had to do on her farm that would have been very hard for her to do without help. So then she was blessed. And there have been, you know, when you are being blessed by the universe, it shows in that the blessings are not just limited to one thing. You know, I'm getting a kitchen. The kitchen I have always dreamed of in a way, because we even lowered the height of my peninsula because I'm short. I'm only 5 foot tall. So most counters are really high for me. So it's uncomfortable for me to even cut and almost impossible to knead. And so I'm getting the kitchen I needed, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to increase our happiness, and it's going to increase our quality of life. And all this happened in the way it happened because we showed the universe that we were interested in having a better kitchen, and your kitchen is inextricably related from your ability to grow your wealth. So we show the universe. And I'll tell you one more thing. If this bulb has started leaking during the day, like in the middle of the day while I was cooking, I would have heard it, I would have identified it, and we could have stopped the leak before there was any damage on the floors. We wouldn't have changed our floors, we wouldn't have changed the cabinets, and as a consequence, we wouldn't have changed the counter that really needed to be changed. So I want you to think about times in your life, and if you want to share them with me, share them with us. Times in your life where you actually have showed the universe that you were interested in something, and the universe responded by delivering that thing to you. And I appreciate you're here watching. Hey, Athena. And I look forward to our next video. Bye-bye.